Hello friends, I'd like to take you through an example calculation using the shTouch calculator. I'd like to figure out, based on the number of cars that there are in the world, how big of a area square they will cover, and also how wide of a belt of cars you'd have if you just kind of stacked all the cars in the world around the circumference of the globe. So let's start by clearing the stack, clearing the memory, and setting the mode back to adaptive mode. There we go. And first we have to pull up quick how many cars there are in the world. Of course, I checked some more or less random website, but it seems there's between 1 and 1.5 billion cars. Consensus seems to be 1.4 billion cars in the world. All right, so enter, hit 2 for the width of a car, let's say 2 meters. Hit 4 and multiply all of these together, and that will give you the area in square meters of all the cars in the world. Seems like a pretty dang big number. Now divide that by 1,000,000, and that should give you the amount of square kilometers in the world that all of the cars in the world cover. So we're going to store that to the number A, just to make sure we've got that and don't lose it somehow. Give you a point of reference, the country I live in right now has 41,000 square kilometers, so the cars actually cover a quarter of it, which is probably the amount of land you can actually live in Switzerland, which is pretty damn amazing. Now, let's see how big of a square that will give us. So if you just take the square root of this, naturally that'll give you the side length of a square. So it's 105 clicks. Just for the North Americans amongst you, 1.609 is the amount of kilometers per mile. So, whoops, 1.609. You know what? Let's save that. There we go. So we're back at our number, and pull it up again and divide. So it's 66 miles side length of a square of cars, which is huge. It's like from here to Stuttgart. Anyway, I'll go back to kilometers. And so now let's figure out how wide of a highway will be around the world's circumference. So the radius is 6371 of the world, multiplied by 2. Now we'll pull up pi like this. There we go. So we got radius 2 pi, multiply all that together. That gives us the circumference in kilometers of the globe. Make sure we save that. And pull up the area in square kilometers. Now we want to divide the area divided by the circumference, and if I just hit divide now, it'll actually divide the top number by the bottom. Now, of course, this is premeditated, so I'm going to pull down here. That button XY, which is on top of the plus minus sign, will swap X and Y. X and Y are the bottom two numbers. Okay, so if I hit divide now, that gives me the width in kilometers of such a road or such a belt around the world. So it's 280 meters, which is huge. That's pretty much exactly 3 football fields wide all around the earth in cars, which is insane. Anyway, that was my fun little example I had planned. And here's another one, actually. I often run into the Fahrenheit degrees shown on internet recipes. I've got a Swiss stove, so it says it in degrees centigrade. So let's say 420 F, okay? If you want to change that to degrees, you just tap 4, pull down, and there you've got your degree C, okay? And if you're in the US, Canada, whatnot, and you get a recipe that says 185 degrees centigrade, you want to know the Fahrenheit, tap 4, pull up, and there you've got your Fahrenheit. So there's another fun one. Ounces, grams, inches to meters conversions. Finally, for the electrical engineers among you, I have a special one. You can calculate parallel resistors. Let's say you've got 9.3 kilo ohms, and just for heck of it, 4.7 kilo ohms. You want to calculate what the parallel resistance is. You just hit R par, boom, there it is. So there you go.